Ever get that, like, I don't know, that feeling that there's something out there? Something you just can't explain. Like you
Yeah.
see something and it just makes you question, like, everything you thought you knew about the world.
Yeah, totally.
Well, tonight,
For sure.
we're diving into a story that plays on that feeling,
Yeah.
you know? A case that's equal parts terrifying and fascinating.
Uh-huh.
The Flatwoods Monster.
Yeah, that's a good
Are
one.
you familiar with this
A
one?
little bit, yeah, I've heard of that one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think what makes this case so intriguing
Yeah.
is that it's not just,
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
your typical monster sighting.
Yeah. Yeah.
It happened in 1952
Like the context.
at the peak of Cold War paranoia,
Yeah, exactly.
amidst a wave of UFO sightings across America.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Right.
this context just adds a whole other layer to the mystery.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if it was just a case of, like,
Right.
mistaken identity or something truly out of this world,
Absolutely, yeah.
which is what, it's what I
Yeah.
think makes it so fascinating.
Uh-huh.
It's like this perfect storm of fear and the unknown.
Right.
We're talking rural West Virginia,
Okay.
September 12th to be exact,
Uh-huh.
where a group of boys witnessed what they believe to be a UFO crash.
Okay, yeah, so like picture this
Yeah.
these kids, they're just out playing,
Right.
on a seemingly ordinary evening when suddenly they see this bright, fiery object streak across the sky and disappear over a nearby hill.
Yeah.
Like something out of a science fiction movie, right?
For sure.
But for them, this was real.
Totally.
Yeah.
So they run home,
Yeah.
tell their mother, Kathleen May,
Uh-huh.
and she, to her credit, decides to go and investigate
Did for her.
with a few other adults,
Right.
including a National Guardsman named Eugene Lemon.
Okay.
And that's where things take a really eerie turn.
This is where it gets good.
As they're approaching the site,
Yeah.
they describe this pulsating red glow and an overwhelming smell of sulfur.
Oh, like rotten eggs?
Yeah, like almost making some of them sick.
Yeah.
And then Eugene Lemon, he shines his flashlight.
Oh, no.
And that's when they encounter the creature.
Uh-oh.
And this is where the descriptions get really interesting and kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
They describe this towering figure,
Yeah.
at least 10 feet tall, with this metallic-looking body.
Ooh.
Some said it was wearing a long, flowing cloak, almost like armor.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and the head is what really, gets you.
Yeah, what was it like?
Spade-shaped,
Oh, wow.
with glowing red eyes.
Oh, that's creepy.
And get this,
What?
it didn't walk.
No.
It seemed to glide,
Oh, is that right?
as if it were hovering above the ground.
Wow.
There were even reports of hissing or shrieking sounds
Oh, God.
coming from it.
No way.
I can only imagine how terrifying that must have been.
Oh, I know.
No wonder Eugene Lemon just fainted on the spot.
Oh, yeah, right there.
And everyone else ran for their lives.
I would too.
So what happened next? Did anyone believe them?
Well, so the police and the press, they rushed to the scene,
Of course.
but they couldn't find any trace of the creature.
Really?
Nope.
Oh.
But there were reports of a lingering metallic smell
Okay.
and scrooched grass.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that kind of added to the whole mystery. And then, get this,
Aye.
the case even caught the attention of the U.S. Air Force.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. Who, at the time, were
Yeah.
investigating UFO activity through Project Blue Book.
Okay, so the Air Force,
Yeah.
the people tasked with investigating UFOs,
Right.
what do they make of all this?
So they concluded that
Right.
the witnesses had simply mistaken a meteor for a UFO
Okay.
and a startled barn owl for the monster.
So we're talking about a giant owl with glowing red eyes.
Well, now hold on.
I mean, owls are pretty creepy.
I know, but
10 feet tall.
that's where the debate starts.
Okay.
Right? Because a barn owl's face could resemble the spade-like head described by the witnesses, especially in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
And their eyes, they do reflect light,
Right.
but the sheer size and other details don't quite add up. And don't forget the sulfur smell.
Right.
They attributed that to decaying vegetation.
Mm-hmm.
But some witnesses insisted it was more like an industrial chemical odor.
Okay,
So there's definitely more to this story.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole,
Yeah.
Some of the details kind of fit that owl theory,
Right.
but then others just leave you scratching your head.
Exactly.
It's no wonder this case has sparked so many different theories.
Oh, yeah.
What else is out there?
So you have The classic alien visitor theory, which gained a lot of traction given the timing of the event.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking about the 1950s, the
Yeah.
golden age of UFO sightings,
Yeah.
and people were already on edge with Cold War anxiety.
Yeah, for sure.
It was almost as if, like, society was primed to believe in extraterrestrial visitors.
So the idea of aliens crash landing in West Virginia wouldn't have seemed so far-fetched back then.
Not at all.
I
In
mean-
fact, for many, it was the most logical explanation.
Okay.
You know, you got the object in the sky,
Yeah.
the creature's strange appearance,
Right.
the metallic smell,
Wow.
the fact that it seemed to glide rather than walk.
Yeah.
It all pointed to something not of this earth.
Oh, wow.
Some even speculated that it could have been a robotic probe
Okay.
or an alien in a protective suit.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah,
But what about the people who weren't buying the alien theory?
right.
Like, what were their explanations?
Well, some researchers proposed a psychological angle,
Okay.
what we call the mass hysteria theory.
Oh, interesting.
Now, before you go and dismiss this as like people simply scaring themselves,
Right.
it's a bit more nuanced than that.
Yeah, okay.
It suggests that like fear,
Yeah.
adrenaline, and the power of suggestion.
Can create a collective perception shift,
Okay.
especially in a group setting.
So you're saying that their existing fears and the atmosphere of the time could have influenced what they thought they saw.
Precisely.
Wow.
Think about it.
Okay.
These boys had just seen something unusual in the sky.
Yeah.
Something they couldn't explain.
Right.
Add to that, like the widespread anxieties about UFOs and the Cold War,
Mm-hmm.
and their imaginations might have been primed to see something extraordinary,
Okay.
even if it was something relatively ordinary.
It's kind of like that game we used to play as kids.
Yeah.
Telephone.
Yeah.
Where a message gets distorted as
yeah.
it's passed along.
Right.
Except in this case, it's a visual experience being
Right.
shaped by fear and expectations.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And remember,
Yeah.
mass hysteria doesn't necessarily mean the experience wasn't real for the people involved.
Okay.
It simply suggests that psychological factors played a role in shaping their perception of events.
It's like when you're home alone at night
Oh, yeah.
and every creak and groan
Mm.
sounds like an intruder.
For sure.
Your fear makes you interpret those sounds in a way that aligns with your anxieties.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that.
I think we all can.
So we have these three main theories:
Okay.
alien visitor,
Uh-huh.
giant owl,
Yeah.
and mass hysteria.
Right.
Each one offers a possible explanation, but none of them quite fits perfectly.
Yeah.
Where does that leave us?
I mean,
Are we destined to never know what really happened that night in Flatwoods?
well, that's the beauty of a good mystery, isn't it?
I guess so.
It keeps us guessing.
Yeah.
Keeps us exploring and reminds us that there are still things in this world that we may never fully understand.
I guess you're right.
Yeah.
But even if we can't definitively solve the case,
Right.
we can still learn from it.
Absolutely.
Like, what do you mean? What can we learn from a 70-year-old monster sighting?
It forces us to think critically. Okay. To examine the evidence from different angles and to consider how our own biases and preconceptions might shape our understanding of the world.
Right.
The Flatwoods Monster case isn't just about, like, a creature in the woods.
Yeah.
It's about the limits of human perception,
So,
the power of belief,
I hope
and our enduring fascination with the unknown.
that's a great point.
Yeah.
It's like a case study in how we interpret information,
Right.
especially when it comes to things that challenge our understanding of reality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And while the Air Force might have dismissed the Flatwoods Monster as just a case of mistaken identity,
Right.
the legend continues to thrive.
Really?
And people still flock to the area,
Wow.
hoping to catch a glimpse of the creature.
Okay.
Or simply just experience the mystery firsthand.
Wait, people still go looking for the Flatwoods Monster in 2025?
Absolutely.
Wow.
In fact, the town of Flatwoods
Yeah.
has embraced its connection to the legend.
Oh, that's cool.
They hold an annual Flatwoods Monster Festival,
No way.
which attracts visitors from all over the country.
Wow.
They even have these incredible monster chairs,
Oh,
these giant throne-like chairs shaped like the creature.
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's like the town has turned this whole mystery into a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah,
It's
God,
not even about fear anymore. It's about, like,
embracing the unknown.
embracing the unknown and having some fun with it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of brilliant, actually.
Yeah.
Like, they took a potential nightmare and turned it into a tourist attraction.
Right.
It shows how a legend can, like, evolve and take on a life of its own.
For sure.
even when the initial fear kind of subsides.
It's a testament to the power of storytelling.
Yeah.
And how a good mystery can just capture our imaginations, like, for generations.
Right.
We're still talking about this incident over 70 years later.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And I think what's so interesting is that the Flatwoods Monster isn't alone.
Oh, no, not at all.
There's so many stories like this throughout history.
Right.
Tales of strange creatures and unexplained phenomena that just continue to, fascinate and intrigue us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a reminder that we still live in a world
Yeah.
full of mysteries. And that's a good thing.
I agree.
It keeps us curious,
Yeah.
pushes us to explore,
Sure.
and forces us to question what we think we know.
So, what do you think is the real takeaway from the Flatwoods Monster story?
Well,
Is it about aliens, owls, or something else entirely?
perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between.
Okay.
The sensational and the mundane.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a case of mistaken identity,
Uh-huh.
fueled by fear and imagination. Oh, maybe, just maybe,
Yeah.
something truly extraordinary happened that night in West Virginia.
Right.
We may never know for sure,
Yeah.
but the story continues to challenge us
Mm-hmm.
to think critically
Uh-huh.
and to keep an open mind.
I think that's what I find most compelling about this case.
Yeah.
It's not just about finding an answer.
Right.
It's about the journey of exploration.
Yeah.
And the realization that sometimes
Yeah.
the most intriguing questions are the ones that remain unanswered.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It reminds us that there's still a sense of wonder and mystery in the world.
Right.
And that's something to be cherished.
Well said.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the legend of the Flatwoods Monster.
Yeah, me too.
It's a story that reminds us to embrace the unknown, to question what we see,
Right.
and to never stop exploring the mysteries that surround us
Exactly.
until next time.
Yes.
Keep those eyes on the skies
Okay.
and those minds open to possibilities.
I will.
Thanks for listening to today's podcast. The West Virginia Media Lab is all about celebrating our state and its people, businesses, stories, news, and folklore. If you love West Virginia like we do, be sure to comment below, then subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell to stay connected. Until next time, stay wild, wonderful, West Virginia.